the most passive-aggressive, calculated, personal attack I've ever experienced.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're looking at the worst entries for the opening prize tasks on Taskmaster.
There's a sort of performative entertainment quality to this show, whereas I think I treated it more as a sort of data entry.
Number 10. Heavy Snake. Sarah Pascoe was in the firing line this time, with the contestants asked to bring in the heaviest item that can fit inside a shoebox.
I have brought a poisonous snake. It's very heavy, so the lid is shut.
She opted to bring on a poisonous snake weighing 32 kilograms, allegedly. Claiming that it was poisonous, not venomous, she wouldn't let Alex go near it to get a measurement, meaning that Greg simply had to take her word for how much it weighed.
Have we weighed the snake?
Well, no, I wasn't allowed to approach the box. I was told there needed to be a handler, so we don't... I mean, I haven't weighed it.
I think it's about... How much was the marble?
Obviously he didn't, knowing that she was blagging and refusing to award her the points she needed. Besides, a really heavy snake wouldn't have fit inside the shoebox, and also would be able to lift the lid on its own.
Well, if it hasn't been weighed, then it's null and void, right?
Well, she said it was 32.
Yeah. It's just about whether you trust me or not.
Oh, I don't.
Number 9. See-through thing.
It's the classic see-through. I don't know what's more see-through than this. I'd also say that it's a symbol of industrial progress. It's something that is a human right if you're in a prison. It is, of course, a window.
Everybody did appallingly in this prize task, where all they had to do was bring on the best see-through item. Joe Thomas started off weak with a window, though he did try to sell it in a very rambling way.
You've brought in 50 ways to see through people.
Yeah, there's a lot of snakes in the industry and I'm protecting you from them.
Little did we know that the others had barely even acknowledged the brief, bringing on all kinds of flotsam from their houses that they clearly just wanted to get rid of.
Best see-through thing, I think he's got a point.
Shut up!
By the end of the round, after being asked to judge a book and a hula hoop, Greg was so bored that he ruthlessly punished everybody other than Joe, finally rewarding his literal interpretation of the show.
I'm going to give everybody except for Joe 1 point.
Right.
And I'm going to give Joe 4 points.
Number 8. Veruka Sock. Who's got the most interesting footwear in the group? Well, not Alice Levine, who must have misheard the task as the most revolting footwear, because that was what she brought in.
So I've gone for something that's gone out of fashion, but I think it's going to make a comeback. It's the Veruka Sock.
Whereas Asim Chowdhury brought on some cowboy boots stolen from Post Malone, Alice really dropped the ball, which is disappointing since you'd have thought she's got ample opportunity to steal famous people's shoes on Radio 1.
I mean, they're absolutely repellent.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not flying off the shelves as they used to, which I find interesting.
Well, that's because the Veruca actually became extinct in 1985.
She then went on to bizarrely review Tim Vine's foot when a picture of it appeared. Compared to a signed football boot, it was no wonder that she went immediately into last place.
OK, I am putting Alice's Veruca Sock in last place.
What?
Is that your final decision?
I find Veruca's slightly less interesting than football.
Number 7. Braces.
You're going to have to jazz this up, Daisy, unless you want to go straight into last place.
Well, white wine is just great, isn't it? Alcohol's really great.
In the inaugural episode of Series 10, they were asked to bring in the nicest things to put in their mouth. It was one of the weakest prize tasks in the entire show's history, with Daisy May Cooper just bringing on a bottle of white wine to kick things off and winning with it.
That's not true. It's true.
I mean,
Someone
you can...
was pouring Gaviscon onto a fucking map.
Johnny Vegas had acid reflux medicine that he wrote a poem about, but Catherine Parkinson really gave the Veruca Sock a run for its money when she brought on a pair of braces, which are absolutely appalling to have in your mouth, as anyone who's had to wear them will tell you.
I remember the orthodontist seeing me for the first time and saying under his breath, "Poor kid."
Yeah.
So they were bad.
Remarkably, they still didn't come last, and were defeated by Mawan's teething toy.
You'd rather put her braces in your mouth than my chicken
I'm
would.
surprised.
What world do we live in?
Number 6. Raw wool.
I brought you some raw wool.
Some raw wool?
Some raw.
Oh, I like my wool cooked.
When asked to bring on sheep-themed items, Mel Giedroyc brought on something from an actual sheep. Raw, unprocessed wool. The audience was horrified at the old wool that she'd apparently just found somewhere and decided to pick up.
Now, the fun thing... Oh. No, listen.
Oh. You heard the reaction, Mel. You heard the reaction.
She tried to explain the appeal of the raw wool and what it could be used for, but was it used for processing to make into usable wool? No. She found some discarded wool on the ground during her holidays, and she and her family used it all as fake facial hair.
Who did you do it with, your family? Yeah. Huh. I'll tell you what that is. That is disgusting, skanky old wool that's been stuck onto the face of an insane family.
We expect weirdness from Mel, but it was hard to see the entertainment value of gluing wool to your face. Number 5. Confusing little box.
It's a confusing little box that you can't open, but you can. But you can't open it. But you can open it.
They had to bring in their most confusing thing on this episode, and we went straight to Phil Wang to have a look at a box that he got by poorly haggling in Thailand.
Well, he said 300 baht.
Yep.
And I said 150. And then he said 300, and I said 200. And then he said 300. So I paid 300 baht.
The box was very confusing indeed, so much so that Greg Davies couldn't open it.
I'll just open the box, you
After giving James Acaster a stern talking to about his impatient attitude to the box opening, Greg continued to fail, only to pick the box up and smash it on the floor, ruining the prize. After all that, there wasn't even anything inside it. Either Phil forgot to put something in there, or he himself couldn't open the box to even try. Number 4. Jelly.
I'll tell you now, anyone who's bought a jelly, no points. OK.
In this cruel opening task, they were asked to bring on the most satisfying wobbly thing, with Greg condemning them at the beginning for how unoriginal he anticipated they'd be.
I still brought in jelly, but inside the jelly is a complete Rubik's Cube.
Of course, nearly all of them did indeed bring in jelly, though they at least tried to put a spin on it. Thankfully, Mike Wozniak and Sarah Kendall didn't fall for it, instead bringing in a tooth and a giant sausage.
It's a jelly belly. Why does your jelly of your belly have abs?
Yeah, it is a fair point that...
There's absolutely no way that
I'm not going to lie.
In the end, we had a rare case where Greg couldn't even pick a winner, and instead give everybody a conciliatory 3 points for their effort. Even he felt bad about disqualifying them for their array of jellies.
Sorry, Charlie, you've brought a jelly in, haven't you?
Yeah, inside is a letter from my therapist commenting on my wobbly sense of self-esteem.
Number 3. Season ticket voucher.
If we can rely on one person to get us back on track.
No, this is a good thing.
This prize task went completely wrong when they were all asked to bring in gifts for the person below them in the alphabet. Much to Greg's ire, they all brought in gifts the other person would love, and then pledged that no matter who won, they'd dole out the gifts accordingly.
I have bought Alan a season ticket to Manchester United because he always goes to see the Arsenal. I don't...
The team he supports.
Yeah, whatever the reason, that's where he always is.
But there was one person who wouldn't disappoint where a bad prize task was concerned, Victoria Corrin Mitchell. She needed to get something for Alan Davies and opted for a season ticket to Manchester United, knowing full well that he was an Arsenal supporter.
I assumed if he loves football, he's going to want to see the best team. If you look at the cups and everything, it's usually Manchester United. And I thought, I don't know why Alan's never treated himself.
It was a joke, of course, and wasn't even a proper ticket, instead just being a mocked-up voucher towards a ticket.
So you haven't even bought the whole season ticket to a team I imagine you hate? Of course.
Number 2. Belfast Airport Business Lounge Pass.
So for minute to the pound, it was the most expensive thing I've ever bought.
They were asked to bring in the most surprisingly expensive item this time, in a segment that easily had 2 of the most fascinating prizes in the show's history. Sally Phillips' Fry's Dry Turd and Mark Watson's Garden Gate. But it also had 2 huge duds from Aisling B and Nish Kumar.
I travel to Spain regularly.
Yes, you do.
And I would have guessed late 80s. I would have said it was worth about...
No, it's 91.
I would have said 88.
Yeah, it's 91.
So I'll give you my surprise face.
OK.
Nish disappointed yet again by bringing in €100 in a commentary about Brexit, but Aisling brought in a temporary pass granting access to the business lounge at Belfast Airport. Though she hyped it up as costing a fortune, Greg guessed that it cost far less than it did.
Well, all I can say is how much I would pay, and I would pay £40.
It costs £25.
At least you could actually use the euros to buy things, though, including access to the business lounge after you've converted them.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 1. Creme Brulee.
We're going to start with Joe. What was your burstable item?
Grape.
This time, they were bringing in their best burstable items. Throughout Series 8, Joe Thomas earned a reputation for bringing in terrible prizes, despite his baffling victory with the window. But who knew that his grape wouldn't end up in last place when Lou Sanders brought in a coffee jar with a creme brulee stuck in the top?
You know how nice it is to burst a coffee pot?
When you push through the thing at the top.
That's the best burst.
Yeah.
Famously.
After quite a long argument between Lou and Greg, he resolves that she's wrong for opening coffee that way and for putting his face on a creme brulee, ending the round by giving her only 1 point.
OK, what am I bursting, Luke?
The gold
The gold seal. I wouldn't do that. I'd run a spoon round the outside, I'd lift it off, and I'd dispose of it.
He always does that. He does always do that.
Yes, even higher than a single grape and Ian Sterling's creepy teddy bear.
OK, you can't pop a creme brulee. 1 point.
I love the song, though.
You can't burst it.
What possession would you have brought on for these rounds? Let us know in the comments.
I think that's your strongest effort so far.
Thanks.
Jesus Christ.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.